Previously on the Ready Set Radio podcast.
You know, it's just...
I know all the venues that I know of have all closed.
Yeah, the pandemic hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But there are places for bands to play if you just go
I think
look.
if they worked it, I mean, like, you know, I don't know the strategies we use, but like you mentioned the cassette thing, you know, we really, all the, you know, I worked at Little Caesars. Every dime that I got, we would buy more cassettes, and we just blanketed the area
Yeah.
or like free cassettes, and then eventually CDs
Yeah,
became
that
the
free
thing.
cassette was the reason that my band gave out free CDs because
Yeah.
I could just pick it up
It
and walk
worked,
out with
dude.
it.
I mean, it's like we would go to concerts, and while people were in line, nobody does that stuff anymore. You know, I don't know if that stuff would work. People get a CD nowadays, and they're like, oh,
Physical
whatever.
media is almost dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
But maybe it would. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if people did what we did in terms of we went to the big concerts when they came to the Coliseum, we'd just go in line to hand out flyers, and just really like for fans of Deftones and Korn and whatever.
Looking back, man, that was such fun times.
And it worked. And like I said, I mean, we built a crowd of hundreds. I mean, before our CD release, I think our first show there was 300 people. Granted, a lot of it was carryover from my previous band, Tragic Seasons. That's when I learned a lot of things. Tragic Seasons really helped me.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready.
Allegedly, when I was his age, I had a guitar and a beer in a hand. You know what I mean? Allegedly.
Get set.
We're back. We're doing it for real. And we're only moving forward. So with that being said,
It is time for the Ready Set Radio podcast.
listeners, it's Eric, the Ready Set Radio podcast. I got Drew here, and I got J-Dubs here. And just to start it off real quick, J-Dubs, break out the button because I'm going to get started early. My fucking back hurts. I took a deep breath earlier this morning, and I pulled something, and this shit has been bothering me for hours.
It's hell getting old, man.
Yeah. We were texting about it earlier, too, and I don't know if you saw what I said, but J-Dubs, I'm pretty sure you're in that thread. But anyway, I was like, yeah, it's dangerous work getting old. And I was like, the most dangerous, it might not be the biggest killer, but it is the biggest cleanup hitter in history because nobody gets past, dude. Nobody.
Finishing move.
Yeah, straight up, dude. Straight up. And it's the beginning of the end today because I pulled something just taking a deep breath. I literally wasn't even moving, twisting, lifting nothing. I took a breath and was like...
I think J-Dubs, I, and our listeners appreciate you taking your very last breath to come on the podcast with us today.
Laughing is agony, my man.
You in the wrong place, brother.
Oh, that's so real. Yeah, I'm some Tylenol, a Salon Pause, and I'm about to be a drinking too.
Oh, is that French?
You bastard. It's agony, dude.
Well, pour your drink, man. I'll tell the people about what some of the things been going on this week.
Yeah. What kind of? How's your week been?
This week's been good, dude. I started a new job a little while ago, and it's actually the exact same thing I was doing, but slightly different, which is always really fun. But it's one of those things where you never get a day off. Like even this morning, I was in the shower and getting phone calls at the same time about things that are happening, which is not ultimately the way that I want things to go. But I'm grateful that still have the opportunity to be able to podcast with really good friends and be able to spend some time one-on-one this week. For anybody who wasn't invited, Eric and I were jamming the other night.
Heck yeah. Thank you for that. I had to turn the ringer off on my phone so we don't get interrupted.
Oh, yeah. Please silence all electronic devices.
But yeah, we did get to hang the other night. It doesn't seem to happen often enough, but it was just us two. Had some killer barbecue.
Had some great barbecue.
And,
you killed it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I enjoy it every once in a while. And Emmy, she owed me a big hunk of meat because she left the freezer door open and everything thawed and went bad. So,
oh, no.
Yeah. Shout out, babe. Love you. But anyway, where were we? Oh, yeah. Cheers to Drew being on the podcast. I know you don't have a...
I don't, man. I want everybody to know that we are such a non-biased podcast that we don't have any products featuring logos like my Fresca drink this morning. I spelled it so that nobody would know what I was talking about, like you do with children.
Such a bastard, dude.
Similar to our certain brand of energy drinks.
Here, you want some hot coffee?
Yeah. I'll drink to that. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
That's straight whiskey, dude. What the?
Got him. It really isn't, though. It really isn't.
No, it's just water.
God, that was funny. All right.
Oh, man.
So I think
You guys buckle in. Get ready. This is going to be a live one.
it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. I think the first thing that I really wanted to get into today was I wanted to get both of your takes, J-Dubs and Drew. I wanted to get your takes on the Lincoln Park deal. What we've got going down is I want to get your takes and then I'll get into what I'm going to say about it because I've got a couple things.
Well, I'll tell you, man. First and foremost, I think that Lincoln Park is my favorite park in the state of Illinois.
All right.
I've never actually been there.
I was just going to say,
But there's
times
just
have you been there?
But there's just something about it that really, really draws me in. You know?
Okay. Anyway, yeah. Well, I guess J-Dubs, what do you got?
Man, it's rough. You know, when you leave, whether you like them or not, they left a legacy. You know, they started their brand of music was heavy, but it was poppy, but it had rap qualities. There was a lot there.
Yeah, rap rock.
Yeah. When Chester passed,
To Chester.
yeah, to Chester. I'll just go ahead and say it, man. It's one of those bands and we discussed it earlier. Dropping my manhood here. I'm pushing the button.
Yeah, don't forget to push. I was just about to chastise you that again.
But we were talking about it earlier. I feel that they really need to hang it up, man. That they needed to leave it as a legacy and, push forward in new endeavors and stuff. You know, I feel they were all very talented, and I feel that it has ripped holes in families in certain aspects from what's being seen in the media and stuff between like Chester's son and.
Yeah, I saw that too. I thought it was an interesting take, but yeah, he's not wrong to a point, but also, maybe I also heard cash grab,
Yeah.
but I don't think that she. I think her name's Emily or something. I don't want to even try and remember or mispronounce. So, but I don't think she did a bad job. She sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like she meant it from here, But
What an honor, you know.
Indeed, to have that kind of platform out of nowhere. Maybe not out of nowhere. She might have been trying to do something before. I don't know anything about her, but
she fronted a couple of other bands prior.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you, man. The media is the media. Everything will always be blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
If we're talking about just pure quality of performance, I did see a couple of videos of them
I
playing
don't
live
think
with
it's
her.
just about performance though, because they're dropping new music too.
Right, that's true.
And I think that's to get into what I was going to say about it. I think there's only one major band that I can think of that's ever changed their singer and actually gone somewhere with it, like been able to take it to new heights.
Okay.
And that's Van Halen. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I would have liked. I think that they would have ended up more with a more profound effect on music if they had hung it up, like Zeppelin. Mm-hmm. Led Zeppelin, when John Bonham died, everybody was like, nope, that's it, we're done. And they got offered all kinds of money a whole bunch of different times, and they were like, no, it's done, we're good.
Yeah, that's true.
And Robert Plant and Jimmy Page still went on to play music and did some things, but Led Zeppelin is the megalith that it is half because of that decisions. It kept their mysterious going. It kept it left them intact as what they were, and I think Linkin Park could have had a shot at that if they had left it be. Like
legacy wise, for sure. Commercially, I mean, the Van Hagar years.
That's the other side of the spectrum, but I don't think that. I don't know. Only time's gonna tell. And to be perfectly honest, and this might be a hot take. I hope we get f***ing famous for it. Boom, nice J-Dubs on it. I'm not really a big fan of Linkin Park to begin with. I was never really a big fan. Like they had some killer tunes, and I didn't shut it off when it got played on the radio until it got overplayed on the radio, and then I'm like, I'm good.
I never bought any CDs.
And I never, and
I had them on some mixtapes.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't think it's going to translate the way overall that they want it to.
Yeah.
And I think they probably, in the long run, would have been better off just hanging it up. Go on and do new projects. Don't try and keep this going.
Right.
And, but I got to respect the effort because, only time will tell. They might be the second band to ever pull it off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's definitely been a few over the years that I would think at least, you'd see an honorable mention from, if we're talking about, replacing singers. I mean, look at most...
Look at AC/DC.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my examples for sure. They, number one, legacy-wise and commercially-wise, really took off with the replacement. Brian Johnson and Bon Scott.
Point. That's a fair point.
In fact, that's probably the best example I have. You've got a million other examples in rock music in general. I mean, most recently I was reading an article about Johnny Craig, right, from like Dance Gavin Dance and Slaves, and him being replaced by like the singer from Tides of Man and the singer from a few other bands throughout the years with Dance Gavin Dance. And that's just one example that I was reading about recently, much less, the tons of other times that it may have happened on a smaller scale. The biggest difference I know is like they may have recorded one new album, but it would, you're kind of looking at a roller coaster commercially.
Yeah.
Did it do okay? Did it not do okay? I mean, this weird thing throughout the years. But AC/DC, man.
I guess that is a fair point. I didn't even
another huge one is Journey.
But see, they switched AC/DC. The only argument that I would have for that is that they didn't make it until after, really. Like they had some success, but they didn't have any success in the U.S. They didn't become what we know as AC/DC until after Bon Scott was gone.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not saying it's a good argument, but that's just the one I've got.
That's fair. I mean, it does take time for things to go overseas too, man. It's a long way to swim,
Yeah, but none of the music that they did with Bon Scott ever became popular here. Yeah. It was always everything that they did with Brian Johnson afterward is what's popular.
That's very true.
And also, it's not just singers as well. Look what's happened with Pantera, with the recent getting back together of that band.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not even sure I want to get into that because Phil Anselmo's got a wicked history of saying some messed up stuff, and like the original members are all gone, dude. Like,
yeah.
It's
the next direct.
It was Dime and Vinny, dude. That band was Dime and Vinny.
I was gonna say, can you even have Pantera without Dime?
Yeah.
Well, they got the closest things they possibly could. That's walking the earth now to fill that role.
And that sounds like another cash grab to me, man. Like
that's the same thing as Sublime now touring with Bradley's son, man.
Legacy is different. That's Bradley's son.
Yeah, but he's not the musician that Bradley was.
That's
by any stretch of the imagination. And again,
true.
That may be a hot take, but I don't like his singing. I don't like his guitar playing. I don't think he's
his
up
guitar
to par.
playing is wicked boring, dude.
He's not up to par with the rest of this legendary, 90s band.
Brad was nasty.
How do you feel about Wolfgang?
I actually don't mind that. I actually don't mind him filling in, but once again, I have to admit it's not Van Halen, what I mean?
He's not Van Halen, no. I mean, he's not Eddie.
Right.
He is Van Halen, but he's not Eddie.
Well, literally Van Halen.
But that's that's one of the things that makes it okay, though. Legacy will take you a long way. You don't have to be. I think you could be a step below, and Legacy can help make up for that.
I don't mean to use the word worthy, man, but at least Wolfgang Van Halen is, worthy of. He has some chops. He's got a good attitude. He's got a good stage presence, or at least it seems to be from watching them live. Right?
How old
I've never met the guy.
Yeah, but see, Wolfgang's been doing it for a while already.
Sure.
But how old is Brad's son now? What's his name anyway?
I have no idea. Jake, Jonathan. I don't know.
Google that for us,
like
J-Dubs. What's
I
his
think
name?
it starts with the
because I think age might have something to do with it. Wolfgang was Van Halen and Wolfgang are quite a bit older than Brad and whatever his son's name is.
Yeah, I suppose.
Maybe he's just now getting of the age where he's able to get into it. Because I'm not sure. I don't know the whole story of what dude's about.
Maybe so, but to pose a question to you, man. I don't know about you, but I at least would hate to have been handed a guitar early in my music career and been like, okay, here's a stage of 10, 100 people or 1,500 people, 2,000 people or more, because you're just riding on the Sublime name. And
yeah, but when you grew up as the kid who saw that, it's just normal.
He's so young though, he wouldn't have seen any of that.
Well, that's my point.
Right.
If he's so young and he's only just now getting into it, then.
But how true can you stay to the legacy at that point?
Are you
that's
talking
what
about
I'm saying.
Jacob Knoll?
Jacob, that's
Noel?
it.
Yeah.
So Jake, I was close. Okay.
Yeah, he's 29. He was born in 95.
He's younger than I am.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have seen any of Bradley's performances live.
No.
I mean, and maybe no, he wouldn't have, because pretty
Right.
sure Bradley was no longer with the band at that moment.
That's one hell of a way to say that. No longer with the band.
Hey, man, the internet's changing the word for DEAD.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just laughing at the way you did
What
it. You
world
did it
we
one way.
live in.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Time for a new bottle in the decanter, J-Dubs.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'll jump on that.
Thank you.
Right now.
No, you don't have to be right now. We have rum for now.
It can't be right now.
That rum is from
This is-
Nassau, too.
Oh, it's good rum, too.
Oh, that's cool.
I brought that back from the
Bahamian.
Bahamas, yes.
Speaking of guitar playing, I want to go ahead and just jump into the next stuff I wanted to talk about, which was your new Fender Strat. Because
Hey, real fast, let's do a commercial.
Hey, commercial.
I'm Drew from Ready Set Radio,
I'm Julie from Ready Set Radio.
and this is Merchandising 101.
Check out this shirt.
Do you like futuristic novelties of a band that's not quite yet famous but will be famous soon in the future? I'm Drew,
I'm Julie.
and we're here to sell you some.
How about this shirt? Cool shirt, huh?
Are you one of those meticulous home decorators that only decorates your house with one style of stuff? Well, we're here to sell you our style of stuff. WRSR, Ready Set Radio 103.7 presents the merch store. You can find it at ReadySetRadio.com.
ReadySetRadio.com. We're Ready Set Radio, and we want to see you wearing our cool stuff. Grab a shirt.
I showed Floaty 102 different jingles that I had.
What the problem is that he already had the perfect music for it, and then we got shut down because of the copyright shit.
Oh yeah.
And we just couldn't come back from it with anything that we were like, yeah, that's it. It was a bummer because that shit. It was.
So what
it
you're
was the
saying
perfect
is I
little-
was not only not first pick, but I also wasn't second pick or third pick. It's just the settling option.
No, there was no second or third pick. We went straight from the one to the settling
Oh,
option.
so I was the second pick.
Yes.
All right, sweet.
Yes.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I'll just edit around it. It'll be
Nothing's
fine.
safe in this room.
Not during the
Nothing
podcast.
safe,
no.
nothing sacred.
But yeah, we were talking about your American Strat, the new one that you
Yeah.
just got. It's a beautiful guitar, very 70s.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
I'm glad I got to check it out the other night while we were working on something top secret.
Dude, so I picked it up, right? I've been eyeing these guitars since like 2017. I was in a guitar center in Peoria, Illinois, And
were you checking out Lincoln Park?
No, that was one of the times I didn't go to Lincoln Park. One of the many times that I didn't visit.
Like we're not going to it right now.
Right, not at this moment. We only had so much time, and I was like, let's hit the Bean, let's hit Millennium Park, let's hit that weird little automated Korean restaurant where the food comes with robots, and there's not a single person working. That was the coolest part of my trip, by the way. And then let's not go to Lincoln Park because time. But anyway, so I was in a Guitar Center in Peoria, Illinois. And played this guitar, man, and it was way too expensive for me at the time, and it's still way too expensive for me at the moment. But they came out with the American Pro 2 series, and the price on the ones went down, and that's why I bought it.
Where'd you get it from?
I bought it from Guitar Center.
Oh.
Used.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, which, by the way, guys, for anybody who's never purchased a guitar used from Guitar Center, I would like to outline to you what the experience looks like, right?
Oh, all right.
So they have this wonderfully designed bare bones part of their website that lists used and vintage guitars, right? And it's got, it's bare bones. You'll have to flash the page or something. But you've got a listing that somebody who gets paid way less than they should at Guitar Center had to make by briefly glancing at the guitar before they close the case. So sometimes the listings say 1984 Fender Stratocaster, black, humbucker single, serial number, comes with case, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it says Les Paul. And you've got to open the pictures, of which there are two, front and back, and they're taken from like 30 feet away. So you're not really sure what it is, but it's kind of cheap. So maybe it's worth it. It's like opening a mystery box on the internet.
You don't think
about
they did
half
that
the
on
time.
purpose?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
So this Stratocaster actually was one of the ones with a good listing on Guitar Center used, and so I was able to buy it in the antique olive color.
Was it already set up that way?
No. I set both of the guitars that I bought up myself once they came in.
Right.
And to my preferences. Normally I like to set my own stuff up. There's been a few times recently I've taken it to local Guitar Tech because I bought too many guitars at one time, and it was going to take days to set all of them up. I'm also not a big fan of setting up floating bridge guitars, but the Stratocaster's not, the LP's not. The Les Paul that I bought, dude, Les Pauls are one of my favorite guitars to set up.
They're easy, man. That Tune-O-Matic bridge, man,
they're easy. They're customizable without being extremely difficult. You don't have 6 different saddles you have to worry about. You don't have like a weird, fretboard radius to worry about. The scale length is super short for a normal electric guitar, so it's relatively easy to work with in that regard too. And that's cool, man. The LP I bought is a mid 2000s Gibson Les Paul Studio, which, by the way, weighs a lot less than my Stratocaster, which blew my mind when I pulled it out of the case.
It is interesting because
that it is so light.
Traditionally, Les Pauls are way heavier.
Traditionally, they're boat anchors, man. I mean, 10 pounds plus, 11 pounds plus, depending on the model. But this one, it may be, 8 or 9. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
Which means that Stratocaster weighs like 18.
And the thing is not that heavy, dude. That was a nice guitar to play.
It's pretty heavy, but not in a bad way. But yeah, those are the 2 new guitars I got. Now, I will say, one more fun experience of buying a used guitar from Guitar Center is when you get it in from, UPS and you check your packing slip, it may or may not be for your guitar. So you do get this lovely brief moment of panic because you open the packing slip and it says something like Lake Placid Blue Fender Telecaster. And you're like, whoa, that is not what the listing said, my friend.
Vintage olive color I desired.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, instead of the lovely moment of panic, you may get a lovely moment of absolute just shock because my Les Paul paperwork said 1960s Gibson Les Paul Standard. So I thought I may be opening a $4,000 guitar. Turns out it was just the studio after all. But I'm not upset. I bought it on purpose.
Right. Quite right.
So yeah,
but it was a sweet guitar, dude.
It plays
And
real
speaking
nice,
of
man.
guitars, J-Dubs, how often have you ever been able to buy a guitar used like that, given that you only play lefties?
That's the only way I buy guitars.
Right.
Think
okay.
about being a musician and walking
Trying to-
into any musical
They don't have
facility whatsoever, and you'll have 2 choices to play.
I know you could be left-handed writing and whatnot and still play right-handed. Why didn't you do that?
It just didn't make sense. It didn't make. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
Just
my first one was
when you hold a guitar, you just like it's like when you interlace your fingers. Which finger ends up on top naturally? You
Yeah.
know, some people have it the right, some people have it the left, and it doesn't matter which hand you write with.
Never thought about
That's
that.
a genetic thing. Did you know that? Hereditary. Yeah.
Huh.
You learn something new every day.
No shit.
But anyway,
I guess the nice thing about left-handed guitars, though, only having 2 options, is you don't go in and have that like, man, I've got to play like 100 guitars today to figure out what I'm going to buy, and that's
It's the
kinda
exact
nice.
opposite.
Yeah,
It's like
I have 2 guitars to play today.
yeah,
That means I can play "Smoke on the Water" twice in order to figure out what I want to buy.
nice.
So yeah, I custom order or either order a guitar or I just order guitars offline because
Yeah.
there's such a bigger,
I'm really
selection.
jealous of your Rickenbacker bass. I wish it was right-handed because
Thank you.
I'd keep that thing.
Yeah, I love your taste in guitars, J-Dubs, for real, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
If anybody ever gets the chance, sneak into his house, check out the studio. There's so much cool stuff in there, hanging up on the walls, in cases. It's like, a treasure hunt.
Yeah,
Truly.
I wish I got to display my guitar collection like that. Mine are always in cases.
Mine
being
too.
Used.
Mine
Maybe
too.
I'll do a walkthrough or something.
You definitely should. That way nobody has to sneak into your house.
You know what? You know what might be cool is if we all brought all our guitars and just had them in a bunch of stands on the floor here in the station, and we just like look at all this. That
Yep.
might be fun.
It's fun to look at.
It is, especially a bunch of them. And I bet between the 3 of us, you put them all in one place, that'd be one hell of a collection, dude.
Dude, honestly, knowing our 3 guitar collections, I really don't think that we have any repeats either. Which is crazy to think about because I have quite a few.
I love that.
You have
though.
quite a few, and
I
he has
love
quite a
that,
few.
though. There's no repeats.
You're exactly right.
There's not even between us, dude.
No.
It's beautiful.
And it showcases 3 entirely different styles of guitar playing too.
Yeah.
I think that should be a segment. You guys let us know. Comment down in the bottom here and let us know if you guys want to see that segment on a guitar-a-thon.
And
I
also,
wanna see that segment.
while I'm thinking about it, while you're there, let us know if you like our guests. If you want other guests, if there's somebody you think should be a guest, let us know that too. That was the idea I had earlier that I was telling you about that I forgot about. It just popped back in, and I'm like, we should be like, hey, what kind of guest do you want us to have on the podcast? So let us know.
Yeah, definitely. And as always, like, comment, subscribe,
Yes.
hit the bell so you know when we release our stupid shit.
Check us out on ReadySetRadio.com. Super easy to remember. It's on that shirt right there.
Yeah.
That was on the camera. 10 seconds. There it is, right there. Ready, Set, Radio. But you got to put a .com afterwards. Not .org, not .gov. We are not affiliated. .com.
That's our website. We're also on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook,
Spotify,
and soon to be Apple Music too.
Yes, we need
Moving
that.
up in the world.
Working on it.
We don't need a Coke sponsorship, but we are on Apple Music. I like it. That shows we have priorities in check.
I didn't say need. I said we won't get. Yeah. All right. Well, natural low, I think, is a perfect time to send it to our next segment. I'm gonna actually. You know what? I'm gonna introduce this one because we had been working on some stuff for a while, and you saw how we were implementing the cameras and how we brought some other things into the station, and now we're gonna get to the outdoor construction that we worked on, and it's time lapsed, and there's some bits here and there, and it's a lot of work. But we did our best to try and put it into a manageable amount of time so that you could see what we put into it without having to take the time to watch it all. So I hope you like it.
Hey guys, it's Floaty from Ready Set Radio. If you take a look behind me over here, we got a little small construction going on outside of our station, our headquarters where we do everything. We need a concrete slab so that we can pull our trailer down and unload everything here, and thus finally having all the aspects of our band in one place: the content creation, the podcast, and rehearsal, and streaming. So you guys keep posted. Keep checking back for more updates. We'll have the concrete poured by this time next week. Ready, Set Radio.
Hey guys, we're here watching Station Construction episode 1. We've got a few episodes because it took days and days of work for us to do this, but we figured we'd edit it down, time lapse it, fit a whole bunch of stuff into a short amount of time so we could at least show you what we put in outdoors. And that's Jason Phelan on the roof, our sound guy, Grind and Brew Productions, taking down what looks to be a light pole. Let's watch. What technique.
Wow.
What technique, my
Wow.
goodness.
I'm wildly impressed, man.
Hulk smash.
Yeah. And then he manhandled that thing out of there by his onesie, dude. He picked it up and hauled it out. But yeah, we're laying down a ditch around the building because the hill comes down to the front just like that, and all of the water will flood that front porch. So we needed some drainage. That was priority number 1 for just about every time it rains. That concrete pad, that front porch gets wet and pools
Not just
water.
wet, man. Full on biblical
Yeah.
flood.
It's been bad a couple of times, but at least all the time there's a little pool of water that sits right there in front of the door.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Drew.
That's a nice looking fence in the background, man. The guys who built that.
I'm so glad you brought that up, dude,
the
because
guys
I
who
never
built
even
that
thought to
must
mention
be
it.
pros.
Yeah. You can see how it's different at the back from one section to another.
Like
but
I
that's
said,
okay because Jason's fixing it for us right now. Look at him
Yeah.
go. He's taking that section.
I'm telling you, man, professional.
By the way, Drew and I built that fence. But we decided we had to take down that section so that we could drive through around the building, which is why we're cutting this out to put a concrete pad and do a whole driveway so that it makes loading gear in and out a lot easier. And look who showed up, late as hell.
Me and Savannah.
It's Drew. It actually worked out really well because when you
guys were tapped out when we showed up.
when you showed up, it was like fresh blood to the whole place, and like because it was so hot, dude. We were
Yeah,
dying by the time you showed up, and I think it worked out really well that you showed up as like so far out. So like once you showed up, it was like some fresh blood. You brought beer and you brought like.
Yeah, but
oh my
by
God,
the way,
Italian ice.
for
Yeah.
anybody who's listening, I was only 2 hours after everybody else had started. But it was the hottest day of the year that these guys decided to start working on the station.
It was. Funny enough, you mentioned that the weather didn't play a part in planning this at all. We planned it around your schedule.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because you were going from one job to the next, had some time off, and I was
Yep.
like, when is that time off? Because we need all hands on deck for this project.
And I intentionally picked the hottest day of the year.
Yeah. And then showed up 2 hours late, you son of a bitch.
Hey, man, reinforcements. I brought Italian ice. I brought beer.
You did good, my boy. You did good. It was actually, I think it actually really worked out the best way it could have with that being the way it went. But anyway, it's we'll show more episodes of that as the podcast goes on in different episodes. But it's a lot of footage to get through, so we're gonna sparse it out and we'll show you little bit by little bit. But you saw that there's drainage. We're marking out the area for where the pad's gonna be. We're getting the fence out of there. Getting the fence out of there came with a lot of other work that you didn't see. There was a bunch of yard that had to be worked out. There was a bunch of chain link pieces back there that had to be worked out.
Well, and then, in the fashion of the environmentalists that we are, man, we reduced, reused, and recycled all the wood of that fence, and I put together 2 more sections of fence further up in the yard.
Yep.
With that.
And on top of that, all of the chain link pieces that I just mentioned are getting repurposed around the yard as well. So nothing goes to waste.
That's
ever.
right.
Ever. But yeah. So
speaking of new projects. Have
yes.
you guys seen? So there's this famous YouTuber named Jared Dines, right?
I know of Jared Dines. Yeah,
super strong musician. Really, really cool videos and channels. He started a recent series.
He also put out some music with Howard of Kill Switch Engage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did.
J-Dubs, did you say that his new series started late last year?
Yeah, it was 2023,
November is what I
3rd.
heard. Yeah.
So I'm almost a year behind on this, but it's called Musician Mansion.
And I had seen clips without realizing that's what I was looking at.
Yeah.
And I don't know a whole lot about it, but you've mentioned it, and I want to get into it. it sounds really interesting. It sounds like something that would be fun to watch.
Boy, I'm grateful I got to it a year behind because all the episodes are out and ready to binge. You know what I mean?
Love that.
It's
Definitely.
It's somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour-long episode. Essentially, the whole premise of the series is he has taken a group of
50.
50. Thank you.
15.
50. Yeah, sorry, 15.
Yeah.
Other famous podcasters.
The math wasn't mathing.
In various genres and various fields, some vocalists, some bassists, some multi-instrumentalists, some
Right.
guitarists from the UK, from the US, from wherever, and has brought
My
them all
back still
together in
hurts.
this house to basically create a reality series where he puts them in 3 different bands of 5 people, and they have to perform different challenges every week. And the first 2 episodes are my favorite by far because they are the most creative, in my opinion. The next couple episodes after that got into kind of a reality game show sort of, vibe. But the very first episode, they got separated into groups. They had to choose a band name, and they had to write a song to be performed live that evening. And they had, what, J-Dubs, like 6 hours to do it?
They had to come up with the band name and write a song.
Hey, that sounds like another band that I've heard of. It's done something similar. It
Yep.
wasn't nearly that amount of time.
No,
But we could shout them out. Do I want to shout out? We Could Be Ghosts? What?
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. They didn't have that kind of timeline. They had a much later timeline, but they also still lived their daily lives every day without living in a mansion that's set up for them by Jared Dines.
Right. Myself, Floaty, J-Dubs, and Aaron Yao, man.
Shout out to Aaron Yao. You're the man, dude. We love you.
Yeah, dude. Hope you're watching. Got together in 14 days. We had 14 days to write 5 original songs to perform at a...
I thought it was 18 days. I could be wrong. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Point is...
Well, I can tell you in whatever this very small amount of time it was, it might have been... You know what? Split the difference and say 16.
I'll
16
do that.
days.
Cheers. I'll drink to that. It's compromise, people.
In
It's
that
how you
amount of time,
settle arguments.
we only got together as a full band to practice twice. And one of them was like right before this show that we were doing. And the show that we were doing was really important, man. It was really cool to be a part of. It was a memorial show for Burley from Somewhere Else Tavern.
Right.
And
Shout
man,
out to Burley.
Yeah, I will admit to you guys, I mean, not being a native of North Carolina, not being somebody who's been in this area for a really long time, getting to be in an event like that where you're just surrounded by this huge music scene that has been impacted by one man, and everybody is just there telling great stories and sharing in this awesome experience together, and just paying homage to this dude,
if he were here and we could get him on the podcast, it would be the most watched thing we had done to date by a lot, dude.
We can't do that, but just a little spoiler alert for the future. We are going to do a sweat segment here, and we're going to have the next best thing on the podcast.
Look at J-Dubs giving away our fucking secrets. He's not wrong, though, people. Keep an eye out. It's going to be cool stuff.
That's going to be awesome. But yeah, so we formed a band called We Could Be Ghosts, and that was kind of similar to that crazy thing. But back to Jared Dines. These guys, 6 hours, 3 bands, famous YouTubers, and boy, they knocked it out of the park, man. There was some, real...
J-Dubs, that rum is really good, dude.
Oh.
That rum is really good, dude. There was some good hardcore. There was some good, like pop punk, and then there was a really solid whatever the heck that third genre was that Grasshopper put out, which is I don't even know what to call it. Groove.
Look at him name
rock.
dropping.
Oh, it was awesome, man. Yeah, you guys definitely put down here below all of this stuff and let us know what was your favorite part of the show.
Please
Have
do.
you seen this show? I have not seen the
Yes,
show.
I've watched
I'm gonna
the
go watch
whole
the show
thing.
now based on
Yeah.
this, based on these recommendations.
I've watched the first 5 episodes. I haven't gotten all the way through yet.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a weeks long thing. They flew everybody out to Washington and they rented a mansion. And like you said, they had to do something every day. And the second day after they did the
A Greystone mansion.
Greystone. Greystone, bro.
Not Brownstone.
No, not Brownstone.
No, I say that because one of the band's names was Greystone. They were the hardcore band.
I guess I would have gotten that joke had I watched the series.
Yeah, you're missing out, buddy.
But
I'm gonna go check it out now.
The second day, they had to shoot a video for the song they made.
Wow,
it gets cool. It gets really cool.
That's exciting. I want to check that out.
They run into very similar problems that us and many other people run into when trying to use audiovisual equipment and DAWs and other things like that.
Stuff that you think should work doesn't work, and you don't know why, and it takes you forever to figure it. Oh my god!
Yeah, there was one group that had a very artistic gentleman named Drusif in it, who recorded in like 36 FPS.
Pretty sure I've called you that before.
Many times, yeah. I watched the show and fondly reflected on my own friend group. Is really what happened.
I'm so glad to hear that, dude. For those that don't know, we used to do a thing where I guess it hasn't been so much in practice lately, but we used to make what we called Drewisms, and we would just fit his name into regular song lyrics or like
Bible verses.
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. And we've come up with some really
in good taste. Don't worry.
Some really creative, funny ways to be like, hey, bro, your name's Drew and we love you.
Dude, there's been some real killers too. And look out for that book of Druisms coming 2037. It's going to be a banger. New York Times bestseller for sure. Pulitzer Prize. You name it, we got it. Shameless plug.
2037.
It might be 2036. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver.
I hope we're still
doing
the podcast in 2037 because as soon as I want to shout out this episode and show this clip in the year of 2037 and be like, Drew didn't write no damn book. Where's the Druism book? Where's the Druism book, dude? We've been waiting for over 10 years.
I don't know, man. What if the book gets written and this turns into a Simpsons episode where I predicted the future? That's all I'm saying.
Well, maybe, yeah, but you can't predict the future. Say, hey, I'm going to write this book, and then write the book and call it Predicting the Future.
Maybe
I can call it whatever I want, brother. This is 2024. That book identifies as already being written 13 years from now.
Maybe he did write it, and now it's been erased, and it's now a Mandela effect.
Whoa. It's the book of drawisms instead of Druisms.
Teaches you how to draw a horse in it.
The Berenstain Bears versus the Berenstain Bears. But look out, like you walk through the bathroom door and it's back to Druisms again.
Right,
and then you like walk back into the room and it's drawisms.
Drew. That's still good, dude. Oh, all right.
Really,
really interesting show, man. You guys should totally check it out.
Sounds like it.
And also, everybody on the show has also put out now their own stuff on their own channels, some backstage stuff. So definitely go and check that stuff out because it's funnier than the show is. That stuff is awesome.
Speaking of backstage stuff that is put out by people on a show, everybody on this show has some really cool backstage content on the Ready Set Radio pages. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, you definitely should. There's behind the scenes for shows. There's some guitar rig rundowns. There's quite a few other things on there that I think are pretty neat. And Eric did an awesome editing job.
Well, thank you for
looking
that,
at some of those
I
videos too.
that.
So
yeah, but yeah, we're on all the platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And then ReadySetRadio.com, which you've heard about relentlessly.
Spotify.
Click on the shop tab right now. But yeah, and I think that I want to thank Drew. I want to thank you, man, for coming on and filling in since Floaty couldn't be here, and you're welcome anytime. Every Sunday we do this.
That's awesome, man.
Hopefully this doesn't change anytime soon. But we release on Tuesdays. Usually sometime in the afternoon, 3-4 o'clock.
So hit the notification button. So that way, if it's 3 or 4 o'clock, you'll know.
And if it changes, we'll let you know right here on the same old bat channel. And I'm out of drink. I'm out of words. It's time to go. I don't even think we have to come back.
No, dude,
I
think that's perfect.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out that latest video we just dropped. If you're liking what you're seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tap on that bell so you never miss a notification, and shoot us a comment because we love to hear from you.